Hello, this is Ms. Winsley, and this is a quick tutorial how-to guide for acing and mastering your INHuMANity of Man essay. So, by now you should probably have the following items. You should have the outline for the essay that you would have received in class. You also should have the project requirements. And you also should have a copy of Knight, and you also should have a copy of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So let's go over the essay again. The essay, what are the consequences of treating select groups of people as less than human? You're going to analyze the alienation of Holocaust victims using the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, or as I like to call it, the UDHR, as a guide to support your claim. Focus. Choose 2 articles from the UDHR that were violated by the Nazi German citizens, and find 5 to 6 examples. Of course, you don't have to find 5, and depending on your class, you don't have to do 2. You may only have to do 1. Then you're going to explain these 3 items. We've already been over this. This tutorial video is how to actually construct your essay. First thing we got to do, though, is figure out how to write and finish the outline. Now, an outline is nothing more than a plan. If you properly finish and complete your outline, you will have no problem writing your essay, because once you have a plan and you have an outline, you literally can just type up what you wrote in your outline. So, for the standard classes, non-honors classes, you only had to do 1 article. For my honors classes, you had to do 2, maybe 3, depending if you wanted the extra credit. Now, I have a hyperlink to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights right here. So the first step you're going to do is you're going to choose your article. What article do you feel was best portrayed that violated the human rights, where the Nazi forces violated the rights? All right, so let's get cracking. Now, this hyperlink right here will take you to this web page. And I have a digital copy of the outline online. All right, so the first step is for us to choose an article. So for this example's sake, I'm going to choose Article 7. All are equal before the law and are entitled without any discrimination. So I have Article 7 right here. So I'm going to go back to, so I have Article 7. So now Article 7 states all are equal before the law and are entitled without any discrimination to equal protection of the law. It's actually a great one. So let's say I had to do 2. No one shall be subject to arbitrary arrest, detention, or exile. So that is Article 9. And then Article 7. All right. So now I have my 2 articles. So now I need to kind of change, and we'll get to the thesis statement in a second. All right, so my next step is to find textual evidence where Article 7, all equal before the law and are entitled without any discrimination to equal protection of the law, where Article 7 was violated and where Article 9 was violated. So I would go through the book. Now, some of you we all have some ebook chapters, and we also have some paper chapters. If you just want to rely on the paper chapters, that's fine, but if you can't find any evidence, you may have to resort to going to the ebook. So go through the text, find examples that you feel support your chosen article. Over here, you're going to write how you feel. So you'll explain it a little bit. You'll write how you feel about it. So you'll write your comments, your connections, and your reactions. And you'll do that for each one. Then you'll do that for your second article. Now, the next step in your outline is where you explain. You then explain how victims of the Holocaust were dehumanized. I would use these 4 boxes as if they are bullet points. So the first way victims of the Holocaust were dehumanized. So you want to basically provide, once again, provide evidence from the text. Provide evidence from the text for each of these. Why the treatment of the Holocaust victims violated human rights. So this one you're going to provide evidence from the text. This one you're going to give your opinion, i.e. answer the question. Why the treatment of the Holocaust victims violated human rights. This one also, why all human beings deserve those rights? You're going to give your opinion and then answer the question. And you want to do that have at least 4. And then I would probably choose 2. So, have 4, choose the best 2 for each of these. All right, so that's your outline. So, the next step is deciding how to start your essay. So, let's look at starting your essay. So, they're going to be pretty much maybe 4 to 5 paragraphs, depending on how many articles you choose. The first paragraph is going to be an objective summary, as you can see. Now, this right here is the tenets of an objective summary. So if you want to in your daybook, you can kind of go ahead and copy this. So an objective summary, you name it. Everybody's name is probably going to be the same. Name it. In Night by Elie Wiesel. Then you're going to verb it. You want to choose a strong summary verb. Some in class were recounts, illustrates, explains, portrays, recalls, reflects. Those are all great ones. Then you want to provide the central idea of the book, the central idea or main idea of the book in your own words. I can't stress that enough. Now, if you notice, these 3 all make one sentence. The next thing you want to do is you want to have 3 critical events. Find an event from the beginning that supports the central and main idea. Find one from the middle that supports the central idea. And find one from the end that supports or strengthens the central idea. So those are all individual sentences. So far you have 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences. And then lastly you have your thesis statement. Now this is a generic or base thesis statement. I want you to try to create a more stronger thesis statement. So this is a thesis statement written by a 9th grader. I want you to try to go for the thesis statement that a 10th grader would write. Elie Wiesel's experiences in Night spotlight the inhumane crimes committed against art. So let's look at the frame of the thesis statement. So you want to name it again, which is always going to be now this writer did experiences, or you could use memoir. It's really up to you. So you want to describe what it is. So it's his experience, his story, his recollection. So you want to kind of insert, I like to call it a strong noun. In night. So you want to have a strong verb. And then describe. So now this is the one time you could probably treat. So you could say spotlights the describe the crime. Describe the offense committed by the Nazi forces. Against, then articles, then list your articles of the, then everybody would have the. And let me spell declaration correct. All right, so as you can see, so you want to name it. All right, so let's look at it. Let me get it straight. So I'm going to, the ones right here, the ones that are going to be bolded, the brackets where it's bracketed, that's where you have to insert. Where there's not brackets, that's where you can kind of take what I have written. So wherever you see the bold, that's where you have to come in. All right, so Elie Wiesel's, then bam, strong noun. Elie Wiesel's harrowing tale in night, strong verb. Highlight the offensive, horrible crimes committed against Articles 2, Articles 7 and 9 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Or Elie Wiesel's experience, strong noun, spotlights, strong verb, the inhumane crimes, description, describe the offense committed by the Nazi forces against Articles 2 and 12, list your articles of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Let's look at the 9th grade version, because you want to make sure that your thesis is essentially framed this way. So in night, several human rights were violated by the Nazi forces. Not really a strong noun, but you did describe the offense. Then you had the most significant right violated was article, and then you don't list the title. So this is an okay thesis sentence. This is the better one. You should choose this one. You should try to frame yours like this. All right, so now let's look at a sample summary. All right, so here we go. Sample summary. All right, so of course I want to have my name it. All right, and I'm going to choose the word illustrates. So literally, if I've outlined my summary, all I literally have to do is look at my paper and then just type what I have. So here we go. In Night by Elie Wiesel. I named it Wiesel. I think I'm going to choose recounts. or reflects on the horrors he experienced during World War II and his time in the Nazi concentration death camps. There. That's my 3 items. I named it, I verbed it, and then I described it, my central idea. All right, so now that's one sentence. Now I have to find my critical details. He first, that's a good transition word. He first tells us of his time in the small town of Saget shortly before his family was deported by cattle cars to Auschwitz. Next, here's another transition word, so I know my middle. He describes. So I still have to have some good summary verbs. And I'm going to bold and highlight those. First, he describes the horrible conditions and treatment of him, his father, and his fellow Jewish prisoners. Lastly, he painstakingly reflects, illustrates. I could use reflects, but I've already used reflects once, so I don't want to repeat myself. He painstakingly illustrates the death of his father and his ultimate liberation. And then I have my transition. So I have first, next, last. This sentence right here is my first critical event that reflects my central idea. This sentence right here is my second critical event that happened kind of in the middle. And then I have my lastly, I have my third critical event that kind of happened in the end. Each one of these supports my critical idea. Then lastly, I'll have my thesis sentence. Elie Wiesel, harrowing tale in Night, spotlights the injustice and inhumane crimes committed by Nazi Gestapo against articles. I got to go back to my outline now. And I chose Articles 7 and Articles 9. Against Articles 7 and 9. Notice I spelled out 7 and 9 because when you're writing, you do not write the numbers when you do 1 through 13. After that, 1 through 19. After 20, you want to actually list the number. Against Articles 7 and 9 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And that is the sample summary. All right, so I have my objective summary, and then I have my thesis statement. I'm going to put my thesis statement in red. So let's go back over to thesis. Eli Wiesel's strong noun, harrowing tale. That's my strong noun. In night spotlights. That's my strong verb. The injustice and inhumane crimes committed by Nazi Gestapo. That's my description of the offenses committed by the Nazi forces. Against articles 7 and 9. Those are my choosing. Those are the articles that I chose. So as you can see, I have the 4 main items that need to be listed for a great thesis statement. So this is your very first paragraph. Now, you want to maybe pause here and let's discuss the next paragraph.